All right, this is our Bulgarian split squat series. What I've done is I've chopped this series in half. We have a mobility aspect of it and then a strength aspect. This will be the mobility aspect. So it's Bulgarian split squat mobility series. What we're looking at is a single leg stance. From a mobility standpoint, it's fantastic because it's really gonna challenge the quadriceps flexibility and the hip flexor flexibility of the up leg or the back leg. So what I'll be demonstrating is just more of the traditional pattern, and then a couple ways I like to make it a little bit more intense, adding my trunk, adding my upper extremities, and then moving into a rotational and a transverse pattern. So traditional split squat position, elevated up on a bench, open up. What I want to work on now here is as I gain depth, I don't want this flaring out and getting away from the resistance. I'll do a couple reps here. I'll do the whole series essentially in this anterior plane. That's what you'll be able to see if I'm cheating and compensating by opening the leg out or by breaking down my stance leg knee. Then I'll be rotating it lateral view, looking for a compensation through the trunk, overextending or flexing. Okay. So traditional split squat as a warm-up. It's gonna drop down, get that flexibility and that pull through the quadricep, and sometimes you'll get even more of the lower abdominal region of the hip flexor. Okay. Traditional split squat. Now to add a overhead component to it and start to work on my ability to do things like overhead walking lunges, snatches, handstands, I'm gonna elevate overhead. I'm gonna try to lock out both elbows, and again, achieve the same range of motion and not see any compensation through my shoulders or my elbows as I get depth. They should be unchanged. That's our second pattern. Our third pattern, trunk rotation with depth. Hands come to midline, drop down under quad hip flexor tension, rotate and exhale through that, towards that front leg side. Good. I can go in depth as I did and then rotate from there, or I can work more of a combined pattern. One of the main variables as you start to work on this pattern and add rotation, instantaneously you'll feel that temptation to hold your breath. Hip flexor comes in and attacks into the diaphragm. So as I'm starting to put tension on a system that's already under tension, what it'll likely kind of almost induce is a sense of stress, and I'll hold my breath. If I'm gonna rotate, I'm also gonna exhale as I reach end range, just making sure that I'm not as tacked up as I otherwise would be. The fourth and final pattern here, my personal favorite, reverse wood chop. Sometimes I'll do this with weight, a foam roll, PVC pipe. Don't need a ton of weight on it, it's quite challenging. But for right now, we'll show an unloaded version. Same idea, I'm gonna drop down, reverse wood chop. Okay, lateral view. So again, what I'm going to be primarily fighting here now is that ability to keep a neutral midline, partial hollow body position. Bulgarian split squat mobility series.